All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Going to be getting into a small Sunday 3-game slate. Let's go ahead and get into it. It should be pretty simple. So as always, we're going to start out with the injury news, and really on this small 3-game slate, there's not too much injury news to touch on. The biggest thing that we have to worry about is going to be kind of Desmond Bane. He is doubtful to play today, and with that, we could see a bunch of things happen. Right now, Zaire Williams is projected to get more minutes than Tyus Jones. Okay. On the season, though, with Desmond Bane out, with John Concher, with Steven Adams off the court, we've actually seen Tyus Jones get more minutes than Zaire. But that's in a lot less games. Okay, so it could just be like a game sample size there. Either way, given their price tags, I think both of them are going to be in play. If we get Tyus Jones in like 25 minutes, that would be huge. But Zaire Williams right now is kind of looking like the go-to value play both on Fanduel and Draftkings. I'm a little bit shocked at his ownership just because of that. A small 3-game slate. This is a slate in which, we'll take some raw points just given how small of a slate it is. So if we can get a guy that's going to get around 25 minutes, maybe get us 18 DK points, I would take that. And given this matchup with Indy, if it's a game that blows out, he's still going to get the run. Either way, it's a pretty easy matchup, and so he is someone that is catching my eye. The issue with him is poor shooting the basketball lately. Okay, last game against Minnesota, a little bit better, only 12.5 DK points. So he does have a limited ceiling, but given the nature of this 3-game slate, I might just be taking the value and hoping that it pays off. From there, we can see Brandon Clark is going to be kind of a go-to play as well, just given that injury situation. He's expected to start, and just be monitoring this because we did see Tillman start 3 games ago now. So if we get news that Tillman's going to start instead, then we're going to go with him. But for now, it's looking like it's going to be Brandon Clark. So given his price tag, given his production lately as well, I think we're just going to be loading up on him. And then that's kind of it for injury news. Like we already know what's going to happen with Tyrese Halliburton off the court. Cleveland, Donovan Mitchell is expected to play. If he sits, then we're just going back to what we've been doing. Darius Garland, Mobley, Allen, Karis LeVert. LeVert had a terrible night shooting in the last game without Donovan Mitchell. So actually, I think he'd be a much better play today, just given the fact that he's coming in off of a poor night shooting. But either way, all those plays would be pretty good, but Donovan Mitchell is expected to play. And then just looking at it, the Pelicans, they did get Brandon Ingram back last game. And I would say he is kind of cheap. Okay. Only played 29 minutes in the last game. The game before that, 26. So we have seen the minutes, trending upward. So if he's someone that's going to get more minutes than that, and he shot the ball 18 and 22 times, not being able to hit from the 3-ball. And so maybe this is finally the game in which he is back, and then he really goes off. So 7.6 is a cheap price tag for him being back now. Looking at the Bucks, they're just going to be without Portis. And so we kind of already know that situation. Just watch for Giannis. It wouldn't be surprising to see him sit out. It seems like we have more random players sitting out on Sunday than any other day. So maybe, Drew Holiday would then become a better play. Brook Lopez would definitely become a better play than if Giannis sits. Chris Middleton, I think they're going to limit his minutes for quite a while now. Only played in 15 minutes the last 3 games. I think that is going to continue. And at his price tag, definitely can't play him. If we were to somehow get news that, all right, nope, he is going to play 30 minutes, then you'd be fine. Then you could load up on him, but we're not going to get that news. So definitely just someone I'd be staying away from. So with that, let's just get into the top values on the slate. We'll start with Fanduel as always. Okay, so we have Zaire Williams coming in as one of the best Fanduel values, kind of expected. Dylan Brooks as well. He's expected to get some run, a cheap price tag across the board for him. We got Zubac coming in as, this is a 3-game slate. We don't like the matchup going against Cleveland, but at the same time, it is a cheap price tag for him. Jaren Jackson Jr., I think he's going to be a much better play on DraftKings, but really across the board, he is looking like a very solid play. Batum kind of popping up there. That's surprising. 23% owned on Fanduel. Not someone anyone's playing on DraftKings. Brook Lopez, people are getting to because of the price tag. Very cheap price tag. Like I said, if Giannis were to sit, would be a much better play. Let's go ahead and look at DraftKings value. Zaire, Jaren Jackson. So people are just loading up on that Memphis value. And I don't mind that idea. It is a good matchup. They should be fine. We are seeing Pat Connaughton really soak up a lot of ownership once again on draft. And on the last live stream I did, I said, Pat Connaughton being chalk just doesn't make sense. Like I was like, let's play Grayson Allen instead. They're the same price point. You can gain some nice leverage on the field. Obviously that didn't exactly work out. Pat Connaughton had 3 steals. Okay. And he still was productive from the 3-ball, 4 for 6. I would still consider Grayson Allen a better play, just given the ownership. Okay. We know the minutes are going to be there as well. Basically same role, but you can get him at significantly less ownership. And, chances are he can be just as productive as Pat Connaughton. So I don't really get why the chalk has been that way. It's not like Grayson Allen has been playing poorly either. 25, 21, 28. Pat Connaughton had one good game and followed it up last game with a good game as well. But they're virtually the same play. And I don't get the difference in kind of ownership. Okay, obviously Pat Connaughton is projected to do a little bit better, but I'm just saying the ownership shouldn't be that spread out. So let's go ahead and get into the projected ownership. And so I'll sort by Milwaukee as well. So if we can see here, we got Pat Connaughton at 17, and then we got Grayson Allen at 14. I guess it's much better today than it was the previous day where it's like 24 and like 8. And actually on FanDuel, where the price point is significantly cheaper, Grayson Allen is the play. So people are catching that. That is good. Then just looking at Brook, like he could have a good game. He just hasn't really had to have the minutes recently. So we could easily begin like 30 DK points at a cheap price tag. And he is someone that, is kind of getting some ownership. So that's kind of where we have to think about it. Would you rather play Brennan Clark at a cheaper price tag and Jaren Jackson? That's for you guys to decide. Let's just look at the full slate. Ja Morant is pulling in a bunch of ownership really across the board, both on FanDuel and DraftKings. We got Miles Turner pulling in a bunch of ownership as well. Brandon Clark. Like I said, like you could really go like 3 or 4 centers just given the nature of the slate on DraftKings. And what I mean by that is obviously you could go 2 centers. Then we have a bunch of power forwards that you could put in the center spot. They're power forward and center eligible. Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley, Giannis if he plays, and I expect him to play. So like that's a route I think we could go. Obviously Brendan Clark as well. So looking at it, obviously with it being a 3-game slate, we are going to get a lot of players with some high ownership. We got Terrence Mann popping up there, Sente Aldama popping up there as well. Let's pull up those 2 guys. They weren't exactly players that were extremely popping for me. And then we got Chris Durante. So let's pull up those 3 players. So Durante, actually, this looks like a really spectacular play, especially going against Memphis. Like either way, if it's a blowout, you should get some run. I'm actually looking at this now. I'm pretty shocked that he's not higher owned. The minutes 26, 39, and 34. Yeah, he might be someone we need to look at a little bit more. I'm pretty shocked at this ownership now that we're looking at it. Is that because, yeah, it's probably because of Nembhard, but he was back last game. So maybe we just get an update on him because he only played 20 minutes the last game. And that's kind of been his cap there is 20 minutes. So an interesting play really across the board. And all the Pacers are kind of interesting plays. Benedict Mathurin has been playing extremely well. Could roster him. Buddy Hield is someone that I think everyone's going to roster because they should. 3 straight games of over 39 DK points. Obviously gets a pretty good matchup today against Memphis. We like that there. Naismith is someone like in a pinch today, if we need to, can look at him as well. Not elite, but if we can get 18 DK points at 3.5 on a small 3-game slate, we would take that as well. The Miles Turner people are turning to. I don't mind that. It could be a cheap 40 DK points as well. The question really is, what do we do with TJ McConnell, who is still too cheap given his recent production? I mean, even if we got 30 DK points out of him again, where it was his lowest DK production in the last 4 games at 6.9, like we would still take that. So it's a little shocking to me that he is not like higher owned. I know he's pretty chalky at 40%, but he has been someone that people have just been plugging and playing quite a bit. So just interesting there. And then just kind of makes sense from there. So let's go ahead and give you guys a first look build. So I have kind of been defaulting to kind of just going with that indie game. It seems like they are kind of priced down. The question is how many Pacers is too many Pacers, especially in a game that could blow out. That's my biggest worry. But the nice thing about it is it's pretty easy to run it back in this game. Like Ja Morant should be able to go out and have a really great game. I kind of expect him to get 50 plus DK points. The question is Giannis getting 60 or so DK points tonight? Like the price difference between Giannis getting 60 and Ja Morant most likely getting like 50 plus. Which of those 2 should we prioritize? I kind of like Ja a little bit more tonight. At the same time, I expect Giannis to go off as well. So look how easy it is kind of just to stack this game as a whole. Pretty easy. You could easily go Benedict Mathurin at the forward spot then as well. We got Chris Durante in there. So like, I don't know, let's just do that. Mathurin, we're going to put him in the forward spot. And then we have 4.3 left over to really roster whoever we want. You guys heard my thoughts on Grayson Allen, like perfectly fine with him as a play. You got Terrence Mann, who is kind of popping up there as well. If he's going to continue to get, a decent amount of run, would be a good play there. Makes sense why he's getting some ownership. But maybe we just go with Grayson Allen. Like this is a pretty strong looking first look build, kind of given the nature of the slate. I don't feel comfortable not having some of Paul George kind of as price tag. If we get news that Mitchell sits, then you probably want to prioritize the Cleveland players a little bit more. I do think going Mobley as well at this cheap price tag, we could easily be getting 40 DK points, and then Jared Allen as well, probably locking in around 35 DK points. That's kind of the issue with this slate is like we have so many quality cheap praise. Like, do we have to pay up for someone like Ja Morant? Could we just go more of a fair and balanced approach? And I'll show you guys that. So instead of going Ja, we could go Mathurin, Mobley. Then we have 7.3 left over. So we could go Miles Turner, who should have a good game tonight. And we're saying pretty, like it wouldn't be shocking to see 40, 30, 40, 35, 30, 35, 40, 40. Like it wouldn't be shocking to see all these players have a ceiling game, but this is also a safe build. So we have some soft pricing. We can take advantage of the soft pricing today. But that's all for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the tools that you saw in this video, as well as many more, click the link in the description below. We also have access to the Discord chat as well in the description below as well. So check that out. Let's have a good slate. And as always, good luck.